So when you're asked what's your flavor, what they're really asking is, what type of real estate are you interested in? Like flavors in ice cream. There's vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and all the exotic rainbow flavors of Ben & Jerry's and other manufacturers. Ice cream appeals to virtually everyone on some level at some point for some reason. For example, people often like vanilla ice cream because it's basic, it's simple, it's something everyone understands from a childhood level. There's chocolate, a little bit more sweet, a little bit more edgy flavors, and then there's strawberry and pistachio. Now pistachio, some people don't like pistachio. There's a real visceral reaction because they might be allergic to nuts. So every flavor has a different flavor profile to them. Ice cream is just like real estate in that every asset class in real estate, whether it's single family homes or commercial, has a different flavor and different reasons why people like it. For example, single family housing, that's the vanilla. Everyone likes it, knows it, understands it. Multifamily housing, apartment buildings, I like multifamily housing. It's the chocolate to me, in that it's a little bit edgier, it has a little bit more flavor profile. Office buildings and retail, self-storage facilities, also there's mobile home parks. Those are more pistachio flavored, that there's a little bit more to consider. You should understand that going deep into whatever flavor you're interested in is critically important. Instead of going wide and just dabbling on the surface, it's important that you go deep so you can understand what your flavor profile is made of. Let's look at single family homes. You'll see and hear the late night gurus talking about fixing and flipping single family homes. That's one model. You buy it for a certain price, you fix it up, and you sell for more. Also, there's wholesalers. That's a good entry level to get in, lock the property up under contract, and sell it to an investor for a little bit more. That's a very common strategy. Another common strategy is called the BRRRR method. Very viable strategy. In fact, for single family homes, this is a very strong strategy. BRRRR, B-R-R-R-R. You buy it, you rehab it, you rent it, you refinance, and you repeat. BRRRR. And you'll do that from 1 to 5 properties to 10. There's people I know that have accumulated 20, 50, 80. One operator here in my area, 150, working on 200 single family homes that he's using the BRRRR method. BiggerPockets is a big supporter. If you need more information, they have more information for you. The concept is you have a series of single family homes that you bought them, you're renting them, you're collecting rents. The goal is to pay off one home first, so you're not paying a mortgage on that. And what you were spending on that one home now gets applied to paying off a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth, to the point where you can have 50, 100 homes that are essentially paid off and you're just cash flowing. Plus you capture all the appreciation if you were to sell. So that's a super viable strategy. The risk tolerance during that pay down of your mortgage phase is a little risky for me, but for other operators, they're okay with managing that risk. Now, in the multifamily apartment space, that's where I love. That's my space. Now, granted, there are vacancies, which is why I like going to a bigger 100+ unit, where if I lose 10 residents because of leases and just the time of the year, I'm okay. I'm still at 90% occupied. I can still hit my mortgage. I can cover my expenses. My break even on those properties is much lower, that my vacancies aren't the risk factor. So that's why I like that asset class. And in fact, what we're diving deeper now, if you follow us, subscribe to our channel, we're dropping deep multifamily apartment complex every single week. Now, there are other asset classes like office and retail. Right now in this market, they're saying office and retail will not be coming back. People are used to working from their homes. On some level, that's true, and for some industries, that's very true. But the reality is, office and retail will get hit in the short term. In my opinion, long term, it's going to come back. Next are self-storage. Now, self-storage is currently, well, before this pandemic, was the darling of real estate asset classes. Why? Because self-storage, essentially the expenses are down to zero. You're not going to be receiving a call from a resident saying my toilet's stuffed up or the light's out. The expenses on a self-storage are so low. You're collecting rents. Now, why is it so popular? Well, because in growing markets, in cities that are expanding, people are moving from some place to your city. They're renting or buying property. They're bringing all the stuff that they had before, not enough room in their apartment. They're going into self-storage. So self-storage market in these growing cities are ballooning. Downside is when people are leaving, self-storage is often the canary in the coal mine. And how do you follow it? Well, actually, I look at U-Haul to see which one-way rentals, what cities are receiving more one-way rentals from U-Haul. And finally, mobile home parks or pre-manufactured homes, or there's a half a dozen other names that you want to call them. Essentially, what you don't know about mobile home parks, it's a wonderful asset class. In fact, after World War II, when everyone came back and they were looking for homes to actually move into, cities were desperate, absolutely desperate in the late 40s, early 50s and 60s to attract people to live in their community so they can have a tax base, that they can have restaurants and pay for city services, police and fire. But currently, just be aware that many, if not most communities, don't really allow new mobile home parks to be developed. Just as an asset class, it's not a desirable asset class that the cities are encouraging. But knowing that there are restrictions on every asset class, understand what you're getting into. It's important to go deep instead of wide. There are operators that are owning property in every single one of those asset classes. If you have a team of people managing each specific asset class, great. But for an operator, it's important that you understand the asset class that you're in. We like multifamily asset class because we like the flavor. We know the ingredients, we know what a good multifamily community should look like, so we can implement the right value plays at the right time, so we can drive up our value. So to understand what flavor of real estate drives you and excites you as a way to truly satisfy your residents, your investors, and most importantly, satisfy your own taste buds in the end, please let me know your thoughts. We're dropping content every single week, so like and subscribe to our channel. I'm Phil Russo. Stay tuned and stay informed.